Hey you guys, it's Britt. Tonight we're here to talk about First World Problems Disney Adults Edition. I came across this TikTok. People have some opinions, as do I. So if you're interested in hearing them, please keep watching. All right, you guys. So most of you probably know how I feel about Disney adults already. I find them to be a little odd, but usually they're pretty harmless unless they are, treating others poorly, lashing out at people, ranting about things that nobody should be ranting about, to be quite honest. And I came across this TikTok page called Clearwater to Disney. And her bio says, Disney is our second home, party of 5. And they are annual pass holders. This mom is like 110% a Disney mom through and through. Disney obsessed, Disney adult, had her wedding at Disney, the whole 9 yards. They go all of the time. Now, first of all, I want to talk about the privilege that comes with being able to take your kids to Disney on a regular basis. There are obviously a lot of people who never go to Disney because it's just not in their budget. And if that is you, that is okay. Because guess what? Kids going to Disney is not a requirement for them to have a fulfilling childhood. There are plenty of other things that you can do with your kids that do not involve anything Disney related, and they will be perfectly fine. But I want to talk about the privilege because Disney is very expensive, and it's always been very expensive. Now, for anyone who happens to be wondering early on in this video, have I ever been to Disney? Yes, I went to Disney World when I was about 2.5 years old. I have zero memory of it aside from the photos that I have, and I went all thanks to my grandparents, and I don't know if it was great. I mean, the photos look like I was having an okay time, but again, I wasn't even 3 years old, so I have no memory of it. And I haven't been back since. Now, technically, I went to Disney Springs, which used to be called Downtown Disney. I went there in 2013 because we went to see my boyfriend's mom in Orlando, and we decided, to go check it out. It was okay. It wasn't anything spectacular, but that's just my opinion. But that's not technically like going into the park, so that's why it's a little bit of a whatever, like you're not technically in Disney World because Disney Springs is like just shops and some restaurants and stuff like that. It was not bad, but also not anything to like jump up and down over, if that makes sense. But I'm also not someone who's interested in Disney, like Disney memorabilia and all of that kind of stuff. I'm just not a Disney adult, but that's just me. But there is great privilege when it comes to being able to take your kids to Disney. I think often these mommy vloggers and family vloggers who are Disney regulars, I think of like Jess Fam and a lot of the girlies over on TikTok. Brianna K is another one, constantly going to Disney. That is one way to not be relatable to your audience. And I get it if that's something that you're going to do on a normal basis, whatever. But to show the massive amounts of money that you're spending going into Disney is what makes people feel alienated from your content. It's not just the fact that you're going, but it's the fact that you have to buy a brand new wardrobe and you buy all new mouse ears and you're buying all of this stuff specifically for this trip. So it's not only are you going, but you're spending loads of money to, quote, prepare for it. And it starts to alienate followers. I've heard that from a lot of subscribers over the course of me covering mommy vloggers and family vloggers. So there is a great privilege when it comes to being able to go to Disney. And let's not even talk about taking multiple kids to Disney. It's expensive enough to go as an adult or as a couple. But once you start throwing kids in the mix, we're talking about a lot of money. And annual pass holders, what I have seen personally is they really put themselves up on this pedestal of being, they call themselves like, oh, Disney is our second home. Like they literally feel like they are better than the people who are only going once a year, or they're only going for their kid's fifth birthday party. They're regulars. They almost feel like, oh, we're locals here. So they put themselves up on this pedestal, and there's this really clear divide between people like that versus the people who might go 3 times in their entire life and they take their kids for special occasions. And it's a really big deal for these people to be able to go. Sometimes it takes years of saving money and budgeting and planning just to make the trip happen. So it's really special to them. These people are no different than annual pass holders. They both like Disney. They're both there to have a good time. The annual pass holders should not be looking down on people who are, quote, only going once a year, or have never been and they only go once. So this page, Clearwater to Disney, she puts up this video the other day, and I looked back on her older content, and it's a lot of Disney stuff. That's just what her page is. It's sharing breakfast, it's sharing outfit ideas, it's showing hotel rooms, showing check-in process, Epcot, like the whole 9 yards. That's just what a lot of her content is. But a couple of days ago, she posted this video called Taking a Break. And the video kind of went left. She wasn't expecting it to go this way, but that's the way that it went. So we're going to listen to this and then we'll keep going.
So we're going to take a break from Disney World. It's a sad day. We adore this place. We got married there. We've had 3 children. I think my youngest has been there like 8 times and she's not even 2 yet.
So let's just start from the top. Obviously, got married there. That's already putting her in a separate category from y'all, the people that she's talking to. And to say that your youngest has been 8 times and she's not even 2 years old, that is completely ridiculous in my opinion. I think that, to fork out all of this money on a child who is literally so young that they're not going to remember it. I think it was dumb when I went and I was, 2.5, because I have no memory of it. And if that's what you want to do, that's what you want to do. But again, to list that so early in the video where it's like, oh, well, I'm special. I'm in this special category because I have a 2-year-old who's been 8 times and we got married there. So I'm different than you.
More times in her first year than anyone I've ever known. We love it there. However, this last trip and the trip before this, they were tough. There was a lot of attitude in cast members. And that is a new thing for me. And I'm going to be completely honest with you.
So when we talk about attitude from people in certain situations, I don't know what kind of attitude she's referring to. If she is talking about something where a question wasn't answered with a really high pitch and happy sing-song kind of tone, I'm not sure what to tell you about that. And by the way, if you can hear Axel snoring, he's right here behind me, so you might hear him snoring. I don't know what to do about it. But when it comes to someone having an attitude, it might have just been something that she thought was an attitude, but that person was just doing their best. I cannot imagine the amount of patience and willpower that it takes to work at Disney full time. Not only are you dealing with entitled people, you're also dealing with people who might be having a really bad day, but they're at Disney and they have to, just kind of make it through. You might be dealing with children who are running away from their parents. You might deal with people who are having complete meltdowns at you, and it's not something that you have any control over. I think that when it comes to this whole idea of, oh, so-and-so was having an attitude, sometimes an attitude is not the worst thing in the world. And if someone's not responding to you in the tone that you want them to respond to you in, is it really that big of a deal?
I am spoiled by how I've been treated in Disney World since I was 10 months old going there for the first time. And it just doesn't feel like that anymore. It ain't cheap. It's not like it's...
So she thinks because she's an annual pass holder, then she should have the red carpet rolled out and everybody should be kissing her ass. That's what I'm understanding from this. It comes from a place of entitlement, and I am spending money to be an annual pass holder, so I should be treated with the utmost respect and have a celebration when I walk into the room because I'm an annual pass holder. This is very much like I'm expecting people to talk to me the way I want to be talked to because I'm an annual pass holder because I spend money at your company.
It's a couple of dollars to go. So I feel like we could at least live up to what everyone's used to. It's not an excuse anymore. The lines and the exits.
But let's also talk about the two-way road when it comes to people in the service industry. I talked about this the other day when I discussed the waiter and waitress situation. That was maybe about 10 days ago. I'm sure you guys saw that video. But it's a two-way road. So if we're going to talk about someone not answering you in the tone that you want to be answered in, imagine how these people are treated by guests every single day. You know, it's a two-way thing. I think everyone's just trying to do their best in a really hectic situation. Like I said, I can't imagine the amount of patience and willpower that it takes to work at Disney and tolerate some of the people who are there acting like entitled brats, kind of like this lady is.
And the entrances and the where you got to stand. We did it all. We were there for 2020. We were there for Christmas 2020. We didn't put up a fight. I put a mask on my Florida child who had never worn a mask because he's homeschooled and he's speech delayed and he never wore a mask like ever. I put it on him the whole time we were there.
Oh, thank you for putting a mask on your child and following the rules so that other people don't get sick. Even though you're at an amusement park as an annual pass holder in the middle of a global pandemic, thank you for putting a mask on your child. I'll make sure to send your sticker in the mail.
Ever. I put it on him the whole time we were there and he had no problems. He was actually helping us to, move it over our nose. We did the temperature checks. We did the transition from fast pass.
Yes, temperature checks are part of going places when we're in a global pandemic. If you don't want to deal with putting a mask on your child, going through temperature checks, putting 6 feet distance between you and the person next to you, then stay your ass at home.
Passes to lightning lanes. We pay $60 to $75 a day. I'll pay for the bonus lines. You want me to pay per ride? I'll pay per ride. But the attitudes, I cannot take the attitude. You want me to pay? Fine. I don't mind paying. I mind the blatant disrespect of all of us who are guests by some of these cast members.
But disrespect, she's not giving any examples in this video of what disrespect is. Is it someone who is just not answering you the way that you want to be answered? Maybe that person was cussed out by a guest 10 minutes ago and they're doing their best to not have a full-on mental breakdown in the middle of Disney. Give people a little bit of grace. I wish that she would have given some, specific examples of what she considers disrespect, because she could be considering disrespect literally being told no and thinking that she is entitled to yes because she's an annual pass holder.
Ignoring you, making believe you're not talking to them. They've got the hard and fast rules now, like this is how it is. I'm not asking to break the law.
Yes, establishments have rules. That's the way that it is. Nobody is talking about illegal or legal activities. We're talking about a business needing to have structure in order to function properly. If they're bending the rules for you, just because you're an annual pass holder, then they're going to bend the rules for other people. And once you start bending the rules and not having consistency in a place that is as big and busy as Disney is, you're going to have an absolute catastrophe on your hands. You're not entitled to the answer yes just because you pay to be an annual pass holder. You're not special.
I'm just asking to stand here for a second because it's raining. I mean, now the whole thing with where your strollers got to be, even though all of our strollers are smaller, a lot smaller and more expensive than they used to be. So I'm having problems spending money there. And that's a sad day.
She really focuses a lot on money, as you can tell. Oh, our strollers are more expensive. I'm an annual pass holder. I spend money. I spend money for the fast lanes. We get it. You're spending money that you have decided to spend. That's your decision. But that doesn't mean that you're special. That doesn't mean that the rules should be bent for you. That doesn't mean that people need to roll out a red carpet and put golden flakes on the carpet before you walk through Disney. Get off your pedestal. Get over it. It sounds like this is just like rich people problems seeping through and nobody cares. Do you think that Disney is going to go down because you decide to not go to Disney? Disney is a complete powerhouse of a company. I mean, let's be honest. Just because this little girlie is not getting her way and she says that she's not going to go for a little while because now she says she's going back on Mother's Day, you're not going to break their bank. Nothing is going to take down a powerhouse like Disney. Let's be honest.
So we're planning to go back for Mother's Day. That's 5 months from now instead of 1 month. We might do a day trip, me and my husband.
We're going in 5 months instead of 1 month. We go to Disney monthly because we are just so special and we, fork out all of this money and we expect roses and champagne when we arrive at the park because it's our, quote, second home. Okay, so you're not getting your way and you're pouting because you spend so much money at this company that didn't ask for you to become, you don't have to become an annual pass holder. Let's be honest. You think that because you're an annual pass holder, you should be treated differently than the, quote, common folks. That's not the way the world works. Let's go to her other video that she did.
So let me tell you a story about a cast member that we encountered during Hurricane Ian. We were there for the hurricane at Wilderness Lodge. It was a trip we already had planned, and we absolutely went because we evacuated Clearwater. Just to reference Ian, it was supposed to hit Clearwater at the time, and we were so grateful to be able to evacuate to Disney World. So the morning of Ian, I think it was Tuesday morning, we get there super early. There's more details in my other videos, and we go to breakfast right there at the Whispering Canyon. There is a girl there, young girl, she's in the college program, very big smile, who immediately starts interacting with me and my infant at the time. I am a mess. I'm a wreck. Hurricanes they send me, it's not pretty. I'm so grateful to be there, but I'm kind of coming off of adrenaline of just getting us there, just making sure the traffic isn't too bad and nobody's afraid or flipping out. And meanwhile, we're all very nervous about our homes. And she immediately starts to calm me down. She starts playing with the baby a little bit. She starts talking about how prepared they are, that how I was safe and not to worry. And we just start having this warm interaction. During breakfast, she comes over and checks on us, and she actually starts filling me and my family in, and my husband and my children, about what's going to happen at 1 o'clock and the crew that's going to come in and how that's going to go, and they're going to be the same for so many hours, and that she was actually on that crew.
Okay, so that video was in response to a comment saying, I'm sure they're just giving you the same, giving you the attitude you give them. And she goes on to share this story about an amazing interaction with a cast member. So this has nothing to do with her video where she was ranting and raving and saying that she's never going to go to Disney, or, she's taking a break. This makes her look like a massive hypocrite because it quite literally was the opposite of the entire reason that she didn't want to go to Disney again. So to me, this video right here proves that she is really standing on her privilege, wanting to be treated better because she spends more money than, quote, normal people do. And I think it's completely ridiculous. She also did this other video, which I will insert real quickly, where she essentially says that people who are not Disney regulars are the problems of Disney.
Listen, I have seen and I've actually personally gotten into an altercation with a guest who was being rude to a cast member. I have personally said people like you are not welcome here because I personally feel like Disney is a second home to me and my family. And I feel like the people who work there deserve the best because a majority of cast members are doing an excellent job. What I said in my video is that some have an attitude. And this is absolutely a hiring, training, management, corporate problem. The worst experience that I ever had in Disney World was another guest screaming at me on the bus during, well, not, I guess 2021 was the pandemic still, so during the pandemic, but in 21. So I also have firsthand experience with how badly behaved other guests can be. But let me give you an insight into these badly behaved guests. They are not families like mine who come there monthly, quarterly, for birthdays and weddings and all kinds of exciting experiences that we want to share our life. They are the people who have never been there before. They are the one and done timers. Because when this man got off the bus and he said to the bus driver, "I've never been here before and I'm never coming back," my husband turned to me and said, "Well, that fucking explains it." Because this place, Disney World, is our home. We have a mortgage there with Disney Vacation Club. We're annual pass holders. We own stock. We own property not far away. The lists can go on. But I can guarantee you, your entitled guests are not the people who come over and over again. And like so many people in my comments, if we stop coming because this company, and yes, I understand it's a company training corporate problem, if they don't get it together and figure out what they're going to do to make it better, especially for cast members, and we stop coming, then you are going to only be left with the people who scream at you.
And so now we're going back to people in the park who are not cast members actually being the problem. So you're saying that you're getting attitude from cast members and that's why you're not going to Disney and you're taking a break, but then you come back to say how amazing your interaction with a cast member was at this specific location. And then you go on to rant about people who are not Disney regulars actually being the problems. So her first video, I think, was just full of entitlement and privilege. And I think that people like her who are in a little bit of a different position when it comes to being able to take their kids on endless vacations, or they're Disney regulars, or they're constantly traveling, even if it's, domestic travel with their kids. Remember your privilege. Remember that when you're building an audience on social media, these are people who are not influencers. They work full-time jobs or part-time jobs, or they're stay-at-home parents who are taking, care of their little ones. They are not looking for content for your privilege to be shoved in their faces. They're just looking for people who are making, normal content, everyday kind of stuff, sharing their, parts of their life. Like this whole thing where it's like influencers versus working people. It's this big divide, and people like this who blatantly advertise their privilege and their entitlements is one of the quickest ways to lose anything that you might have been able to stand on as far as a social media platform. So this woman, this is just completely ridiculous. It's completely just not it for me at all. But as soon as I saw it, I wanted to share it with you guys because I've said for the past few months especially, I think over the next year, we're going to see influencers start to have a little bit of a shorter lifespan. And people are just not here for being flexed on and hearing about people whining about not getting their way because they're annual pass holders. Get over yourself. That's how I feel about this. But either way, I did want to share it with you guys. How do you feel about this? Have you been to Disney? Do you care about Disney? How do you feel about Disney adults? I can't wait to hear. So for now, if you like the video, please leave a like and a comment. And if you'd like to see more from me in the future, please subscribe. I'll see you guys soon. Bye.